To formally start our day of gaining knowledge about anything about project management, may I please call on stage Dr. Rashid Alim to discuss how to organize projects efficiently and effectively.
Excellent. Assalamu alaikum once again. I'm back, right? Does anyone here wants to have a lunch later on with us? Does anyone wants to have a lunch? You're saving my money. You don't want to have a lunch. Do you want to have a lunch? Thank you. Then you have an evaluation sheet in front of you. Before I start, give me 10 out of 10. All right? Well, a good start. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming again. Project management is one of the lovely subjects I'd love to give from time to time. If the IT is good with me today, we'll enjoy it together. Before we start, I always like to remind people of a couple of psychological things. I call them here. It's a rule of thumb. We, as people, remember 10% of what we read. So if you read a book, let's say today, in about a year, you might be recalled 10% of whatever if you read it from cover to cover. So if you have 100 pages, you'll be able to recall only 10 pages after that book, okay? And then 20% of what you hear. So if you hear me well today, maybe at night tonight, well, you'll be calling about 20% of what you heard today. And you'll be recalling 30% of what you see, right? So the more you see me today, the better for you. You remember me later on. 40% of what we do physically do, and guess what? 100% of what you feel. So if you feel good about us today and the program and the presentations, then you are 100% in the safe zone, if you would, right? Right? So you're okay. You can remember, you can recall. And this is what we need you. So please feel relaxed in a very relaxation way. Feel simple and, as I said, capitalize on the opportunity. Network, because that is one of the basic objectives of being us today. Well, please, I go on, myself and the other speakers, please try to jot down, try to write down if you find something interesting. Because we need you to transfer this, whatever you heard today, to an action tomorrow morning or today. So that the earlier you learn, the more put it in action, the better off and your company is, right? As they say, an ounce of action is worth a ton of theories. So we can speak from now till tomorrow morning. But if you don't take an action, it has no value at all. Introduction. You go to the management consultant, and if you ask them about my presentation titles, the effectiveness, efficiency, what does it mean? I always say that they always have a ready-made sheet in front of them called E-sheet. Does not stand for electronic here, but E with a business consultant, it stands for this. They will tell you efficiency, effectiveness, and excellence. All they start with E's, right? And efficiency, they will tell you, okay, is doing things right. If this is the right pointer, right? So they say efficiency is doing things right. And then they will complicate it more. They say, okay, effectiveness is doing right things, right? And guess what? When you go to the excellence, they try to be more complex. And they will say, okay, if excellence is doing right things right. So you go home, you put it in front of you, and it's not workable. Right things, doing right things right, and you keep jumping from place to another. But when you are with us here, we have to be very clear with my terminology. So to me, the Project Management Congress, please write this down because this is very important. Efficiency, what do I mean by efficiency? Is achieving the desired result. So you have a goal, you need to achieve that goal. When you achieve that goal with the minimum resources you have, without compromising the quality, then you are very efficient, okay? So forget about the management definition, talking about this definition. Efficiency, if you have a company and you want to talk to your people about efficient and effectiveness, then efficiency is to reach the desired goal with a very minimum resources without compromising on the quality. When it comes to the effectiveness, it is you as a human, your ability, okay? Your ability to achieve that desired objectives or result. Management is the holding company, if you would, of the management itself or the principles. Management was a management, and people, couple of decades back, they only speak management They don't, to speak too much about the two other principles. Now we talk about a lot. Leadership and project management. So the leadership and the project management, actually they were the subsidiaries, if you would, of the holding company, something called management. So management, they have the two companies coming out from here, right? So one is total discipline called leadership and the project management. You see the importance of it. So what is management in principle? Does anyone here wants to be a good manager tomorrow morning? Anyone? Anyone? All right, good. Please write this definition down. To be a good manager, you have to understand this definition, and then you can leave me today. Really, if you understand it well, you don't need to carry on the rest of the program. Management is the process. It is a process. What is the process? It does not stop in one end. It's the process of attaining organizational goal effectively and efficiently. We spoke about the two words, right? Through planning, organizing, leading, controlling. 4 principles management. Do you have them? Planning, organizing, leading, controlling. Organization, 4 with 4, right? 4 equal 4. Human resources, physical resources, financial and information resources. If you can do that, then you're a good manager. To simplify that, I'll come again. I'll recap that. Okay, give me a time, please. This is a nice thing to do. Whenever you hear terms management, right? I split it in 3. Man at a certain age meant to do something. So when you say management, it means that a human interaction is there. So that's why I try to split it there. So this is, if you write the management, it's just the first part, 3 words called man, which is you and I. Probably and here. Never know. Age is the certain age, meant to do something, right? So if you're in the school or they ask you a question, describe project management whatsoever. Even if you don't know the right answer, put human involvement in doing projects, for example. At least you'll get somewhere. Clear?